according to reports, the Green Bay Packers want to get rid of the tush push. They don't like it. They don't think Jordan Love can deploy it, so let's get rid of it. Honestly, it's weak. It's weak for any team or anybody to want to get rid of a play that your team can't perform or execute properly. To want to get rid of the tush push is ridiculous, and I laugh at the idea. What a piece of garbage take or thought process. Taking away a play that one team decided they would try and work on, perfect, and because you can't do it, you want to cry like a little baby and have it removed from the league. It's madness. It's absolute madness. We've got Matthew Stafford. Where might he go? He wants $50 million per year, and the Rams don't want to pay that, so they let him go and discuss with other teams, maybe potentially setting up and lining up a trade. RG3, who's an NFL analyst, reporter, whatever you want to call him, says, or he was, until he made this comment today, that he would rather have Tua Tagovailoa as his quarterback than Justin Herbert. We've got Shedeur Sanders, Ashton Genty not going to work out at the combine. We've got a whole bunch of more news to break down. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
That's the sound of NFL teams that don't know how to do the tush push and they want to get rid of it. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous that a team, like how weak do you feel when you propose a rule? If the Green Bay Packers reportedly are the team that did it, if they're the ones that reported this, how weak do you feel that you're like, oh, let's even the playing field. This is not fair. Reminds me of people that cried and complained like little babies and they went to ESPN crying and complaining when people drafted Taysom Hill per your boy's advice. Stash him on the bench. Remember the year he went in as quarterback. You could use him as a tight end. Everybody cried and complained because they didn't think of it. They didn't do it. They didn't execute upon the plan. I remember that year. 11 owners out of 12 cried and complained because they didn't do it. I was up in arms about it. That's what it reminds me of. Real quickly before we get over to that, because we'll talk about that in a second, Matthew Stafford, according to Peter Schrager, Fox's Peter Schrager, reports are that teams are willing to pay Matthew Stafford more than the Rams. Now, are they willing to pay $50 million? I think you'd be surprised at a couple of teams, if it's a team-friendly deal, might be interested in something where they get out in 2 years, but they do pay him $100 million guaranteed. It's very possible. And there are teams that feel like they're on the verge of winning. There are also teams that feel like Stafford might have more left in the tank than we do. We're very output mindset, drop-off, age drop-off, statistical trending, more so than really the NFL and a lot of teams. They don't think like we do. They think, oh, well, this guy might play 5 more years at an elite level. He may not. I don't think he will. I think he's got 1 to 2 years left, but it doesn't matter what I think, doesn't matter what you think. It matters what the Rams think, and the Rams believe that he won't get this money, or if he does, they don't want to pay it apparently. Or they're kind of letting him test the market, set his contract dollar amount, and then maybe Stafford's calling their bluff and saying he's going to come back and say, hey, I don't want to go anywhere, but I can get, $46 million per year from the Giants. Will you match that? And they say, yeah, the Giants did our job. They set the market. We'll pay you $46 million. And Stafford ends up staying. It's possible. But there's still a 50-50 chance, in my opinion, that Stafford is on the move. Now, where does he go? Nobody knows, but there are several locations. Here's another report here. Matthew Stafford wants $50 million per year. That's what he wants. You can say he doesn't deserve it. You can say that you wouldn't pay him, but there's still a good chance that he ends up getting something along those lines. Let me move all these around and potentially get to that piece of news that was discussing Matthew Stafford's potential landing spots. I think it's around here somewhere. I think this is it right here. The Giants, Cleveland Browns, Pittsburgh Steelers, Las Vegas Raiders, all teams we have discussed on a frequent basis because we are ahead of the curve and we know what time it is before that time even arrives. Look at those teams. Those are the 4 teams we've been discussing for months. Matthew Stafford, will he be a Brown? Will he be a Steeler? Will he be a Giant? Will he be a Cleveland Brown? These are all really decent locations. The Browns are better than people think if they get their quarterback. The Giants could turn the team around within 1 year if they get their quarterback. So if Stafford does have 2 years left, I think that the Giants could be a threat, similar to the Lions turnaround, similar to the Bengals turnaround, similar to the Houston Texans turnaround, similar to the Washington Commander turnaround. It is a quick turnaround, even under Joe Shine's watch. It's a quick turnaround when you have a talent like Neighbors and you bring in a guy like Stafford who would turn Neighbors into his Puka Nacua, and Neighbors would be the number 1 overall wide receiver, similar to the prediction you see up on the $50 board, which these 3 are off limits unless you come at a different angle, like Neighbors will bust, JSN will bust, Genty will bust. Otherwise, these are untouchable 3 that are off the table for the $50 predictions. My prediction, bold, Neighbors wide receiver 1. My prediction, bold, JSN wide receiver 4. My prediction, bold, Ashton Genty top 5. And if Stafford's in New York, this is almost certainly the situation over in New York. So Matthew Stafford, where will he play? Ashton Genty, while we're on that topic, is decided that he will conduct interviews, focus on interviews during the combine. This is not unusual. In fact, even though Cam Ward's kind of undecided right now, maybe trying to vie that angle of maybe I be the only quarterback, of the 2 or 3. Maybe Dart will probably throw at the combine to try and separate himself because he's got nothing to lose. Cam Ward and Shedeur do. So if they're the top 2 quarterbacks, they just leave it to their pro day, not to a day where they're throwing footballs to wide receivers they're not used to. That's typically why a quarterback steps out, bows out of the combine, is they don't want to throw footballs to a bunch of wide receivers that are randomly in a line rotating. They want their guys that are used to catching their footballs with good hands that they trust, and that's why the players at the top decide not to participate in the combine anymore. It's kind of par for the course moving forward. The top wide receiver, look at Travis Hunter, not going to participate in the combine. You've got as a wide receiver. You've got Genty, you've got Shedeur, and then you're probably looking at, I think Cam Ward won't. But guys like Hampton, those guys will try to separate themselves because they're fighting for positioning in the NFL draft. It's all about the top 10, really. Loose rule of thumb. Top 10 players, wide receiver, quarterback, or running back, Ashton Genty, they're not going to participate because what if they damage their value? They want a controlled environment at their pro day. So I hold nothing against him. Everything we want to see out of him, we'll see on his pro day. It's not like he's hiding anything. He's not putting all of his skills in a box, locking it. You draft him, and then he opens it up, and surprise, surprise. A lot of people will take the Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't show up to his combine and didn't run, and everybody's going to say, oh, he's preparing for the NFL. I don't like this. But you can't tie that to this. This is par for the course, and we will see Ashton Genty. We will see Cam Ward. We will see Shedeur Sanders do all of their skills. Even if 1 or 2 of them don't run the 40, it doesn't matter. They're gonna participate in enough ways that we're gonna know exactly who they are and get our fix of that scouting type of mentality. Robert Griffin III said that Tua Tagovailoa would be his choice over Justin Herbert moving forward. I'm taking Tua over Justin Herbert. I mean, this is probably one of the weirdest, unusual, off-base comments I've ever heard. I mean, this is wild. What I will say is bringing in the QB coordinator that was the most sought-after potential head coaching prospect 2 years ago is a good move for this Miami Dolphin team. Bringing in Slowick, who literally was as hyped up and sought after as Ben Johnson was this offseason back 1 year ago. Slowick got fired. He's now over in Miami, and that's a good thing because I think he gives this passing attack a little bit of consistency when Tua's in, and specifically if Tua goes out, they won't do what they did last year, which is pretty much disarm the entire offense and run it in a bad way. I think Miami Mike is handing over some responsibilities to Slowick, and it's going to be a good thing overall. But doesn't mean you're taking this guy over Justin Herbert. What a ridiculous comment. What a ridiculous comment. probably one of the dumbest things I've heard all year long so far. Dallas Cowboys plan to be selectively aggressive, which means they're going to do exactly what they did last offseason, which is not spend any money. Congratulations. Ziggy, show me the front door. What are we doing back there?
Okay.
What are we doing? Who's here? We're doing a show. Who's at my front door? Is it the mailman? Is it an Amazon package? What are we looking at? And Ziggy's, of course, failing to load the front door. Ziggy, show me the front door.
Okay.
Or you're fired. Mailman. Ziggy off. Dallas Cowboys are still going to be a bigger threat than people think this year behind CeeDee Lamb. Maybe they draft Ted McMillan. Maybe they draft Ashton Genty. I'll tell you what, if the Dallas Cowboys get this 12 pick, I feel like Jerry Jones will almost certainly draft Ashton Genty. I don't think he would leave the way that his running back decision making last season left him critical, exposed for being criticized. I think this is his way of kind of making that right. If Jerry can come out and say, and he's very, very manipulative like this. He's a very manipulative man. If he comes out and says, hey, let me manipulate the situation and say, if we had taken on Derrick Henry's contract or Barkley, we wouldn't have Ashton Genty. If he can get Ashton Genty at 12, if he's even there. He might not be there. This is the last pick he'd probably fall to is the 12. I mean, if he fell to 13, Miami Mike would take him. So 12, probably the latest you'll find Ashton Genty. But this is a good way for him to say, we wouldn't have Genty. If we were committed financially to a running back like Henry or like Barkley or Jacobs, we wouldn't make sense to draft a young running back that's going to waste his rookie contract while the veteran's getting paid and starting the games. So it's a way for him to fix and right the wrongs of last year. I don't think he's passing on him. Not to mention, if you're not going to spend a lot of money and you got that pick, it's a good way to get a high-octane player into the lineup without spending the money, which is what he's kind of about right now. So I hopefully Genty falls. He doesn't go to the Chicago Bears or the Niners, making some ridiculous selection at 11. But the Bears at 10 are a threat because Ben Johnson. What Ben Johnson's done with Gibbs and Monty, you can assume that he wants that kind of running attack and that kind of weapon, and Genty's a weapon. So hopefully the Bears go after offensive line anyway, and it would be very Bear-like to not go after offensive line there, though. So I do fear, and not that Genty would be neutralized, I'm still going to have him on the board as a top 5 breakout running back. I just think his journey will be a little smoother, his longevity, his offensive line will be better, like the yards per carry will be better. So Terry, this not, I mean, it's your opinion, but there's a lot of people that think the Bears are, because of Ben Johnson, going after Ashton Genty. So I appreciate your opinion, but you can't say they aren't. You could say I hope, but you can't say they aren't. Athletics, Chad Graff believes that the Patriots could aggressively pursue a wide receiver via trade this offseason. I could see it, but the problem is you've got Cooper Kupp as a potential option. You don't have Godwin. Godwin's going to stay in Tampa, 90% chance. You've got T. Higgins going to stay in Cincinnati, 75% chance he'll stay in Cincy. So, we'll see what happens. George Pickens. So my point being with New England, there's not a lot of trade opportunity. Unless it's DK Metcalf, which honestly, when you think about it, where's that report? Where did I put it at? Where did I even put it? I don't know where it went. But when you think about it, New England trading for a DK, it would be good. DK's a phenomenal player. He's probably the only player, come to think of it, that's available that is a big name, 10 to 15 touchdown potential player. So I love the idea of DK in New England, especially if you're, and I'm not saying Drake May's a bad quarterback, but you're throwing a lot of errant passes, getting fine-tuned, your throwing motion, everything as a sophomore, the sophomore slump threat. all that, inaccuracy that's still going to be there versus the Drake May we'll see in 4 years from now, right? Having a catch radius monster like DK Metcalf that has the catch radius of almost a small school bus. Like you could throw the ball anywhere in the vicinity of a small little, short bus, and DK Metcalf would grab that ball in that vicinity. And that's the kind of quarterback dream come true wide receiver that you want to hand Drake May. So that would be the one option. But other than that, T. Higgins is not going to be available. Godwin's not going to be available, because he'll resign with and he's not a trade piece, but I don't know how aggressive you can get with the open market when it's just Cooper Kupp. Tyreek Hill, I suppose, but I don't know that the Patriots would go after an older player like that when they're trying to develop. So really, it's just Kupp, maybe DK, and then some free agency, that I don't know that's going to make much sense. Maybe George Pickens, because George Pickens is going to potentially hold in. For what? What on earth have you earned, George? What right do you have to hold in, hold out, or complain, or act like you've earned anything? Because all you've earned is our lack of respect, because your head's not in it. You haven't become a monster that deserves this diva mentality that you wear in and day out on your face. And nobody thinks you're even remotely close to earning your potential, my boy. So if I was you, George Pickens, I wouldn't hold in or hold out. I would show up, deliver like the amazing talent you are, because you have the skill set that very few wide receivers are lucky enough to obtain and hold and be able to caress into an amazing career. But here you are, wasting it away, squandering it away. You're on the path of AB, George, in the same locker room where AB started to unravel. How ironic. Does Pittsburgh always have these diva wide receivers that like to unravel? But George, you were on your way out the door more so than on your way to the top. So get your head straight and stop thinking you've earned anything, because you haven't. And right now, I'd rather have a handful of wide receivers that are less talented than you. So George, you can take a lap, pal. A big fat lap.
Take a big lap. We don't need your hating ass coming back now. Take a big lap. Take one and you don't come back.
What a waste of a talent. What a waste of a talent. Dallas Cowboys plan to selectively... Oh, there's that piece. So, yeah, maybe DK. Oh, no, that's not the one. I was looking at the New England one, right? Yeah, they're not going to go after DK. Sorry. That would be crazy, though. Dallas went after DK. Shedeur, they won't. They won't, though. They won't. I promise you. Shedeur Sanders, multiple league insiders are convinced the Giants have their sights on Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders. And we said this. This is very, very easy to predict, because when people were coming out saying, Smitty, Deion Sanders won't allow Shedeur to play for the Giants, they're going to pull an Eli Manning type of move. I said, who's telling you that? Who? Because it's not Deion. It's some reporter or fake Fugazi reporter that pretends they've got inside information to try and get their Twitter account numbers up. And they act like they're a team page that's a news outlet. All these team pages, these ridiculous, unconnected, maybe 18, 19-year-old kids that graduated college in their mom's basement. They created a nice little following in their Twitter account. Bravo to them. That's a real accomplishment for real. I'm hats off for sure. Like, growing a social media account, great job with that. Like, really, truly. But then they think they're a reporter. All these team pages, especially there's a lot of Steeler ones, they act like they're news reporters, and everybody's buying it. And they say things like, oh, Deion's not going to allow Shedeur according to an inside, trust me, bro, source that I have. And what did Deion do? Come out and shot it down. What did Shedeur do? He went and threw footballs with neighbors. They've got a good rapport already just by that. They kind of want to play together. The word is they kind of want to play together. This will be a really, really solid potential marriage. Shedeur Sanders. Why is it so important that Shedeur goes to the Giants? Even though I kind of want Cam Ward there, I do. But for Shedeur, from the angle of how can we get the most out of Shedeur Sanders, Can Shador be as good or better than Cam Ward? The answer is yes if he goes to New York. Why? 2 reasons. Neighbors. Second reason, maybe more important reason, Dable. Brian Dable is the one that cultivated Josh Allen. Bad passer. Rookie year. One of the worst passers in the league. Smitty, you're wrong on Josh Allen. Smitty, I can't believe you called Josh Allen a top 1 to 5 quarterback before he ever took a snap in the National Football League. Didn't you just watch his rookie year? Are you going to double down on that, Smitty? Yes, I am. CBS, NBC Sports Radio, I did double down. I tripled down. He's going to be a top 1 to 5 quarterback and 1 to 5 passing quarterback in the National Football League. Why? Dable changed everything about Josh Allen. He had some help, and some of that staff lingers throughout the NFL, able to help and mold and sculpt other quarterbacks. But this is a Dable potential problem to solve. Dable plus Neighbors plus Shador Sanders could turn Shador into a top 6, 7, 8 quarterback in the National Football League. So this is a very likely scenario to happen. Now, the only thing that would stand in the way of this marriage, and you got to think, even if the Giants were at 1, they might take Shador over Cam Ward because they love the idea of the rapport between these two. But the only thing that could stand in the way is if Tennessee and Cleveland or a team trades up for one of those picks, quarterback at 1 and 2 overall. And the threat is that Tennessee and Cleveland both need a quarterback. The thing is, we are hearing Travis Hunter. You've got Carter. You got a lot of other players that definitely are worthy of the number 1 overall pick. So there is a good chance that the Giants are able to take Shador and he falls to number 3. But if it doesn't happen, they're kind of screwed because that point in the free agency time frame, right? You got Fields already on a team. Fields will be on a team before the NFL draft, more than likely, and so will Darnold. So the options will not be there any longer. You'll have to trade for Joe Milton, which I also would like. I think Dable would turn Joe Milton into a star. You can laugh all you want. You can pretend that you heard from Steve over here, content creator Steve, who told you Joe Milton doesn't have the accuracy, just like someone told you that Josh Allen didn't have the accuracy. Listen to me. Don't listen to Steve or Mikey or Upset Unger or Excel Sheet Eric, who tells you that, oh, it's already said and done. Joe Milton's already written. He can't get any better. Josh Allen can't get any more accurate. He's a bad quarterback. He's not accurate. All he can do is run. Trust me, Joe Milton has the talent, if he's molded and sculpted properly, to be a star. Not saying he will be. Fields has the talent to be rebuilt into a star. Not saying he will. Both of them are capable. Both of them. Stefon Diggs, Steve Smith's in some trouble. I didn't put that up yet. I don't have it on the screen, but Steve Smith reportedly was a bad boy and might have done some things. Some of it's reported, so I don't know for sure, but because there's so much AI stuff, you don't know what's real anymore. So it's hard to know. Like, we're still waiting on some confirmation, but there's some video clips of a guy calling him up saying, you were with my wife and how dare you? And Steve's like, I'm sorry. And then Steve hangs up and there's text messages and the guy's calling Steve a coward. And Steve Smith was, I don't know how much of it has been shot down or true, but it's crazy. Okay. Yeah, Gregory, like I said, it's embarrassing. It's an embarrassing take, if anybody's got it, no offense, that says that the tush push should be banned. And Gregory says, stop the damn rush. Why would you need to ban it? It's ridiculous. Agreed. It's just crazy that someone is so inept at stopping the run or trying to figure out a way around this or do it themselves, that they have to try and ruin the party for everybody else that can do it. Stefon Diggs, according to the Houston Chronicle, they believe that the likeliness of Diggs to return in Houston as a Texan is low. The organization, the GM, had come out and said that the door is always open for Diggs. Could have just been a nice way to send him off, because this report kind of conflicts with the premise that the door was open and they kind of want him back. Sounds like maybe they don't, but we'll have to find out more information later. This one right here, according to Ian Rappaport, no, No, I'm sorry. He just retweeted this maybe. Tom Pelissero is uncertain whether Cam Ward will throw at the combine. As I was saying earlier, when you're a top 10 overall quarterback, top 10 overall running back in the top 10 overall, or a wide receiver going in the top 10, there's a high likelihood that you're not going to participate at the combine because you're already positioned very well. And anything you do at a pro day is a little more controlled with your people, your stopwatches, your accuracy. All the field is to your liking. The amount of people there is to your liking. It's all to your liking, catered around you. And so there's a lot to lose. So my guess would be Cam Ward won't, but there's a chance he wants to be like, hey, I can separate myself from Shedeur. But the fact that Cam already feels like the top quarterback ranked, it would be ridiculous to go to the combine. If I was his agent, I'd tell him no. Chad Graff from The Athletic believes the Patriots could aggressive. There's that report. So DK Metcalf, maybe DK Metcalf's a Patriot. It's definitely possible. But if I was the Seahawks, I would not trade DK Metcalf. And then here's that rule, or that unnamed team, which ended up being reportedly the Green Bay Packers. You know where? According to the baby Packers, we want to ban the tush push because we don't know how to stop it, so it's unfair. It's unfair. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Little babies. Oh man, imagine walking up to a podium, having to answer questions around that. So hey, baby, Green Bay Packer player, what is this about you quietly having a petition signed to cancel the tush push? What a baby. What a bunch of babies. That is so bad. And I'm not an anti-Packer fan. When I come to this channel, I'm pro-football. This has nothing to do with any fandom or rivalry or me making fun of something. This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Let me get some of these questions here. Commissioner said he would review the kickoff return. He will add 5-10 yards more. Yeah, there's going to be some talk about the touchback going to the 35 or whatever. I don't know. We'll see. I will say that the new kickoff rules didn't really change much, in terms of we thought there was a chance because we didn't know that the field positions would be out of whack. It'd be the ball starting at the 50-yard line every time, and it did not end up happening that way. It was a little bit of a difference, but it wasn't as crazy as it could have been. Sick Nasty with the $2 hauler. What would you trade ETN for in terms of rookie picks? Honestly, I wouldn't. I don't think the value is there for ETN. The return value is not there. So I kind of think I'd rather keep and hold on to ETN as an asset. I'd rather go get Tank Bigsby and have that combo buttoned up, ready to go. Liam Cohen coming over from the Tampa Bay Bucks, who created the Bucky and Rachaad White show. That's probably going to be over in Jacksonville now. So I want everything about that rushing attack, but you do need to button it up and grab both of them. ETN, I'd want a second rounder, and even then, I honestly, I think I'd be on the other end of that. Sick Nasty, I think I would give up a second rounder for ETN. So my answer is I don't want to get rid of him. But if you were to go get him, let's say, if I read that wrong or anything, then yeah, I'd give up a second rounder. I'd try a third. I'd try a couple thirds first, but I definitely love ETN and Bigsby together. But you kind of do need both of them. And I think that one of them will be the more surefire back. And I kind of like Bigsby a little more than ETN. Okay, Bigsby has a chance to be this year's. He has a chance to be this year's Bucky in a way, like a little bit of, not a lot watered down Bucky, but a little bit of a watered down Bucky, and Bucky's top 5 glory. Bucky's. How can I put this that makes sense?
Get buckied. 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 Oh, Bucky. Yeah.
beautiful. It's beautiful. Thank you, Sig Nasty. Appreciate you. In fact, I think maybe it's time to put Bigsby on the bold prediction board. I'm getting maybe midseason monster. Bucky, or not Bigsby. Maybe we do that. Let's go look at the midseason monster board. Look at it. Look at it. Take it in. Soak it in. These two bad boys are on there. We might need an additional player. And maybe I move them to the Mars men, Saturn men, Moon men at some point. But let's put Bigsby on here because he deserves to be celebrated and talked about. Do I even have a Bigsby graphic somewhere? I've got to. Here it is, baby. Absolute glory. I give you Tank. Hank the Tank. Bigsby. Monster. Mid-season monster extraordinaire. Let's run that back now that we've got it on there appropriately. I give you mid-season monster. Hank the Tank Bigsby. Do it live, son. Do it live.
You've just been Smitty approved.
Yeah, get Bigsby, Travis says. That's true. That's true. Get Bigsby. By the way, oh man, do I have a treat for you. I kind of heard the audio. I was driving when this was sent to me. And so, to be honest with you, I even sent Brucey back. This is amazing. Thank you. Even though I didn't even really fully hear it, I just know it's amazing just by looking at it. But Bruce sent me the clip. I've got it. Here it goes. I can't wait. I can't wait to play this live. I can't wait to play this live. This is something I've been waiting for over a week now, roughly. Let me see if I can send it to my computer real quickly and put it on screen. Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you our first Malik Neighbors video.
Yeah.
Won't you be my neighbor?
Unbelievable. I'm literally speechless right now. This is my favorite video of all time.
Neighbor.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Won't you be my neighbor?
Unbelievable. She doesn't miss. Miss Robeson does not miss.
You've just been Smitty approved.
If anybody doesn't know who that glorious woman is, that is Bruce. The Bruce, that's his mother. And she's the author of the amazing sounds that you hear, like... Or even more famously known...
We interrupt this program to bring you a special message from the Bruce's mother.
Get Bijan.
Neighbor. Yeah.
Won't you be my neighbor?
Unbelievable. She doesn't miss. She does not miss.
Let him cook.
Oh my God, that's unbelievable. Bruce, thank you. I told Bruce I'd give him a free year of the Patreon just to give me that clip. It was worth every dollar. You trading Devontae McCarthy, so Devontae Pearsall McCarthy for Justin Jefferson in Dynasty. You bet your bottom dollar I am. I have Lamar. It's a super flex. Stafford, Lamar. Yeah, because you got Stafford, Lamar. I do that, bro. I don't care. Stafford is good enough for now. McCarthy, you don't know what he fully is. This is the biggest home run trade you could do. Jerry, that's exactly what I'd do. That's a home run. In fact, if I was him and you sent this offer to me, I'd send you this clip right here.
You were offered sex. You were made offered sex.
I smashed the hell out of that trade, and honestly, I would be a little concerned that you might be hearing from the veto police, because if that was up to me, I would turn you in a millisecond if I could even find my veto police button. I got it somewhere in here, don't I? I don't know where I put this bad boy. Veto police. Where's my veto police button? Veto police. Where are you? I don't know. You're lucky. You escaped. Yeah, because I'd veto the hell out of that trade. And I hate vetoes. Vetoes are ridiculous.
Got him.
You know who does vetoes? You know what leagues have vetoes? The same leagues that don't want the tush push. Anybody that vetoes trades does not like the tush push. Phone lines are open. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Neighbor.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Won't you be my neighbor?
It's just... It's just an unbelievable clip. Let me see if I can put this on loop.
Neighbor.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Won't you be my neighbor?
Neighbor.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Won't you be my neighbor?
Neighbor.
Okay, ready?
It's unbelievable.
Won't you be my neighbor?
It's my most favorite video of all time. Bruce, if you're here, call in and let's talk about this masterpiece. Appreciate you. Phone lines are open. I did have them closed. I'm sorry, guys. They're open now. Yeah, I love it. I love the rawness of the video, too. Bruce directing. He didn't cut it at all. He just gave me the raw footage. I'm sure he wondered if I would cut it up, and I don't want to cut it. I want it just the way it is. I love it just the way it is. There will be another Neighbors drop, but that is our first Neighbors drop, which I'm very proud of. We probably won't be here too long tonight. We'll be back. So I want to take a couple phone calls before we leave to discuss the $50 per year request by Matthew Stafford, discuss the absolute embarrassing decision of the Green Bay Packers to propose that the tush push gets banned because they're scared of it, to talk about Ashton Genty and how I have him as a top 5 running back on the bold prediction board, JSN top 4, Neighbors wide receiver 1. Won't you be my what, Brucey? Won't you be my what, Brucey?
Neighbor.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Won't you be my neighbor?
I love it. I love it. I don't know what's happening at the end. It's almost like the phone glitch, and then it shows the ground. It's just unbelievable cutting and executing and editing of that video. Rock out, you're live. What can I do for you? She doesn't miss. Miss Robeson doesn't miss.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. People trying to ban the tush push just because they can't stop it.
Yeah, they can't stop it, so they cry about it. I'm not doing one of my leagues because they veto. That's a great choice, Joe. I agree. Why play in a league where they veto? What else you got? Rock out. What can I do for you today?
Yeah, as far as vetoes, what's your opinion on like a team trading with a bad team that's already out of the playoffs? Is that veto to you?
I think there's no vetoes. I think if somebody makes a trade that is corrupt, they get kicked out of the league. That's it. If somebody's out of the playoffs and they give someone an advantageous play, then they probably don't deserve to be in the league, unless they're doing something they truly believe in. If they believe in it, then I guess you let it go. But, that's a tough call. And the league can vote on it. The league can say, look, we're not idiots. You're trying to give somebody this guy. And the team that's receiving it, you got to question whether they're in on it. So they both get kicked out if they're both involved.
It sounds like an inside job.
But can I tell you, Blake, I'm coming for you 1 second. Hang tight. Can I tell you another thing, though? I think a lot of times, though, 50% of the time, the people that think there's something going on, there isn't. And they just don't realize that the trade isn't to their liking. So sometimes it's not, there's nothing going on. There's no there. All right, hang tight, Rock Out. I'll come right back for you. Blake, hang tight real quickly. I'm so sorry. The Bruce is on the phone. Bruce, this clip is a beauty. Your mom doesn't, Miss Robeson does not miss. Let me play the clip that you sent me of your mom. Unbelievable.
Neighbor.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Won't you be my neighbor?
It's unreal, Bruce. Was that a one take, Willie?
Yeah, that was one take. Like, look, hey, you got to do this for your fans, and then all of a sudden she just stopped.
Unreal. Does she like it? Does she enjoy this? She doesn't think like she knows we're celebrating her, right? She doesn't think we're like.
Oh yeah, she knows.
Okay.
She knows.
I don't want her to think we're laughing at her. We're not.
She laughs every time her things pop up.
I mean, like literally the last 10 minutes we've been talking about it. Clearly, we love your mother. Your mother is.
She watched it.
Staple.
She's like, oh my god, like they really do like me.
Oh, your mother's baked into the show. Let me hold on. She's baked into this show forever. All right, Bruce, hang tight real quickly. Don't go anywhere. Let me go over to Balake, who's been waiting patiently. Balake, you're live.
I wanted to come in about the JSN take. I was all over JSN last year. However, with Clint Kubiak being offensive coordinator, I think him and K9 should be much closer in price than what they are.
So what you're trying to say is you don't like JSN with Clint Kubiak? Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm saying that I think I like DK as much as I like JSN, and I like Clint Kubiak to produce a top 5 running back more than I do to produce a top 5 wide receiver.
Well, I would say this. Clint Kubiak has had tremendous success with wide receivers, bro, and he's been a wide receiver coach before. I don't know if you know, he was with Justin Jefferson. At one point, he was over with Ayuk during Ayuk's 2021 breakout season. Kubiak is a great wide receiver staffer, 100%. I do agree with you that the running attack could be really good too. He does want to balance out the attack, but I truly believe that JSN is going to take massive leaps forward. This guy's metrics were through the roof. He's only going to get better. He was better than Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson when he was a freshman in college on the same team when they were all three in the lineup together. And more importantly, these wide receivers, when they talk about JSN, they heed the road to him. They say, Olave said JSN's the best of the three. He's like, I'm not even going to argue that. I'm telling you, bro, JSN's going to the moon. Kubiak's not going to hold him back. Kubiak's had major success with wide receivers. Tremendous success. But I do agree with you that the running attack's going to be a lot better. The balance will be awesome. DK could get traded, but even if he doesn't get traded, bro, this is not a and or this is not a or situation. This isn't a potential and situation. You can like DK's cost of entry better than you like JSN's cost of entry. That doesn't mean you can't like both of them. I love DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf's going in like round 6, sometimes 7. That's awesome, bro. That's win a league potential. That's 10, 12 touchdown guy right there that you're getting in round 6. He's my favorite wide receiver 2. When I punt wide receiver 2 for a while in a best ball draft, I'll come swinging back around, grab DK Metcalf with a grin. I don't think that we disagree on anything other than I am a and guy, and I think that and JSN can blow up.
Yeah, I trust JSN to do it. I need to see if Kubiak can do it. I really thought that Grubb was the answer there, but I think that McDonald just wants to really run the ball there. I mean, maybe we'll see this year.
But here's the thing: is if let's say somebody suffers, it will be DK. I think JSN's not going to give way. I think if they go very balanced and there's only enough room for one, I don't think they'll divide it up as much as JSN will hog it all, which is why I think they're contemplating trading DK, because some of it's a business move. You're looking a couple years down the road. You're looking about re-upping and how that's going to look. Can we get younger? Can we go develop, some pieces to help us run the damn ball? We already have JSN. You could bring in a Amari Cooper on the cheap and trade DK for some awesome piece that helps the O-line or the D. I think DK is definitely tradable. If anybody gets traded that's a big name player outside of Cooper Kupp, which is likely that he gets traded, and he's not really big anymore, but he's solid, I think DK is the guy. But I would not worry too much about JSN dropping off. I think you can push back all you want on it, but bro, everything, including and most importantly my eye test for JSN, even though we have to consider coaching and offensive scheme and change and all that, I definitely. But my eye test tells me JSN's going to be a top 5 wide receiver.
Yep, no, I can agree with that. I trust JSN. I mean, he was fantastic last year. He was probably the best.
All right.
Aside from BTJ,
Balake, mute yourself. I'll come right back around at the end here. Let me go over to Denny, then over to Travis, then back over to Rock Out, then over to the Bruce, then over to Blake, and then we'll end the show. This could take a little while, so I'm not saying to go anywhere. Hit that thumb up button and subscribe if you're new. Denny, you've been awfully quiet like a good boy. Appreciate you. Denny, did you see Miss Robeson's video? Are you even watching the show right now, or are you just calling randomly like you do sometimes where you don't even watch?
I'm listening to the show,
okay.
And I'm
yeah, but not
I'm
watching.
Not sure.
Okay, you're not sure.
I'm
That means you're not.
To the show live, right? I'm not watching the show.
You're listening to the
Travis
show.
is always on there. Huh?
Yeah. He's last time. I don't know if you remember. You came in a little hot on Travis. I don't know if you remember this. You might have been sipping on Grandpa's old cough medicine that night because you were you were a little bit bit out of sorts. I don't know if you remember it. I hung up on you because you wouldn't stop, and no hard feelings. Like when it's your time to get off the line, it's your time, and then you just bounce back the next day. It's no big deal. That's our relationship we have, Denny. But you came in hot on Travis. That. You came in hot on Travis, and you basically called him a crazy man on the line. Do you remember that?
No, I don't. But there might have been something to it.
Well, let's have Travis. Let's have Travis explain to you what you did. Go ahead, Travis. Present your case.
Hey, Travis. What did I do wrong with you?
I think you didn't seem to like my take on Ramondre. I think you were kind of down on Ramondre. That flipped the switch on you for some reason.
Yeah, you got pissed.
No hard feelings. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, Travis has got skin of steel.
You know what? It's kind of. I think it's flicking the switch again. And I'm done with Ramondre.
Okay. All right, real quickly, what do you got? Because I'm calling it a shorter show tonight. So, Denny, you got the floor. What would you like to talk about real quick? And then I got to move on. And then I got to get off.
Oh, I had something, but you guys threw me a curve.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, ready to rip?
Ready to rip. Okay. Let it fly.
The Eagles not going to the White House.
Yeah. Which this topic, just for the record, what? I said I think they should go. I think, but I very, 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 very clearly said that I think that if Kamala were in office, they should go. If Biden was still in office, they should go. No matter who's in office, the team should go. That's all I said. I didn't get political. I didn't get political at all. And everybody in the comments, not everybody, but a lot of people in the comments, because they got political and it triggered them. They started lashing out at everybody, and they said, Smitty, leave politics out of it. I didn't talk politics at all. All I did was say the facts, that the news is the Eagles, it's news. Yeah. They said they're not going to the White House. I said I personally think they should go. That's all I said. And everybody got all in their panties in a bunch.
I know that.
Okay, go ahead, Denny. What's your opinion on it?
Going at you. You know, I was watching. It was a long day at work. But I'm telling you, what is that all about? Man, go to the White House.
The president asked you to go, you go.
You go to the White House because they didn't do it last year.
Yeah.
And they said not any one of them disagreed. That's when you go, wait a minute, nobody?
There's some disagreed. There's a couple people on record that said they would love to, but it's a group decision. The majority was reportedly no's for the Eagles to go. Whereas like the Niners would have went, the Chiefs would have went. There's different, opinions, which is fine. It makes the world go around. Well, the crazy part is the reaction in the comments from the people that were so hell bent against anybody that said they should have went. They took it in such a political angle, and then they blamed it on everybody else in the comments. You guys, why? And then people have the nerve to say, Smitty, don't get political. Stay in your, like that one guy, stay in your lane. You stay in your lane. This is my lane. I create this lane. I can do whatever I want in my lane. Yeah. If I want to talk about politics, I can talk about politics. I don't care what anybody thinks. This is my lane. I get to do what I want. But I didn't get political. I merely said they should have went. It was news. I broke it. I said the president calls, whether it was Kamala, Biden, or Trump. The president calls, you go. That's respecting the office. And then everybody got all upset. That has no stance politically whatsoever because it doesn't matter who's in office. You what?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
The call eagle. You know, as a Marine, you know, I don't have any medals or anything, but
I'd love to see one of these people that's all in a tizzy in the comments about it, that's taking it politically. Again, let me emphasize for you, panties in a bunch, Peter, that if it was Kamala, if Kamala called, they still should go. Like, do you understand what I'm saying, keyboard warriors out there? Okay. Yeah, so
why would they all?
What?
You know why they did it, Smitty?
Just to get mad.
Because they all, when it was cool to be that way.
Hey, you know what's so funny though? And this goes for either Kamala or Biden or Trump, just so I can frame it right, so people don't get all upset. It would be hilarious to watch one of these you don't go to the White House, which is not a political stance. It's just a decision to make with your team about the White House. And it's your political stance that says why they shouldn't go. Oh, praise them for not going. Like, that's getting political right there. But the thing that's crazy is that if any of these people that were so hell-bent against this topic in the comments, if they got a call from the president that said, hey, I would like you to come in and I just want to discuss, I heard you were upset and I want to tell you my stance and I want you to understand where I'm coming from. Will you come meet me? And you and I can just sit down in the White House in the Oval Office and just have a conversation so I can get to know your point of view because I work for everybody. You know what that person would say? Yes, sir. I'll be right down tomorrow. I'll be right there. I'll be right there. They would. They would. They would. Somebody in the comments later will go, no, I wouldn't. I'd tell them no. All right. All right. Last thing, Denny, and then I got to go. Last thing, go.
What? Oh, love your take on this one. I didn't think that was going to be a deal. Would you, I'd go there. You know what I mean? We won the Super Bowl.
Denny, I'd love to see you in the White House.
Okay, what did I do?
I would love to see you in the White House. Go ahead. What's your question? Then I got to go. I've got the owner to throw in a third rounder. That's crazy with JJ veto. I don't. No, not a veto. I wouldn't veto. Hopefully they don't veto. They shouldn't veto that, Gary. That's crazy. Or Jerry. Sorry, I keep calling you Gary. Go ahead. You got 10 seconds. I got to go. 10 seconds. Hurry.
Hey, man.
Go.
You ever lie when someone asks you if you know where someone is? You ever?
Do I ever
lie
what?
When someone's like, hey, you remember down on Route 53 down
Oh,
there?
yeah.
And then you go, yeah. And then you go, no, you start off. And you're like, no, I don't know what that is. But then they go, oh, it's down by old Jenny's place.
Watch.
Go, oh, yeah.
Watch.
I'm gonna make you look stupid.
I'm gonna do the same thing to Denny.
So now
I muted him. He can't hear me.
Lie that it shouldn't be. And
I'm gonna tell him a joke that doesn't make sense, and let's see if he laughs. I'm gonna tell him a joke. Denny, real quick. Denny. Why did the C separate? Why did Moses separate? Yeah, why did Moses separate the sea into two pieces? It's not gonna make sense. To get the three ladies across. Denny, I just did what you said. I told you a joke that doesn't make sense, and you laughed out of pressure.
Wow, well played, sir. Well played.
Oh, Denny, you just got through saying, you know when somebody says something and you don't know and you just say yeah?
Yeah, I just did it. I just did it.
You walked right in and out. That was a layup, Denny. That was a layup. All right, I got to go. I appreciate you, Denny. Later.
All right, love you, too. All right, love you guys.
I don't know if you guys on the phone line knew, but I muted the phone line so none of you could hear me, but the show could hear me. And I told everyone I'm going to tell him a joke that doesn't make sense. Watch. He's going to laugh just like he's saying he would. Okay, Travis, you're live. Then I got to go. I got to go quickly through the rest of you. Go ahead, Travis.
Yeah, just real quick on the JSN and DK thing. Before DK got hurt, they had basically the same amount of targets. It was 55 for JSN and 61 for DK. And JSN didn't have quite as many. He didn't get going until, a little later in the year. But I don't think the target share or volume is going to be affected that much. So as long as the two of them are getting enough targets, they're both going to be, top 15 wide receivers anyway if they're both healthy. So I'm not too concerned about that. I think sometimes if OC gets in there and they say they want to run it, people get a little scared away. But unless it's like a Harbaugh type situation where they've shown it before and it like shows over the course of a season, then I wouldn't worry too much. And even you saw with kind of out of necessity, but even you saw last year, they started throwing the ball more. The Chargers did. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. When you have two elite guys like that, the ball finds their way there, just like Jason Higgins,
Yeah. All right. I think he's gonna have a great year. I love JSN. He's only gonna get better too. I know a lot of people want to act like these players are exactly where they need to be. 3 years, 2 years, whatever. He's gonna grow. He's gonna mature. He's had his offense continue to change, which is changing again, which is bad. But look, JSN's he is such an underrated player. So we'll hopefully see him flourish. I mean, he was number 6 or 7 last year anyway. So it's top 4 is not that crazy. But for some reason, it'll feel crazy to people.
Yeah,
so that's fine.
Like that.
All right, Travis, we'll see you tonight. We'll be back.
Yep, later, Smitty.
Bruce, 10 seconds, go.
Hey, Smitty, what do you think the best fit for Justin Fields is? Me and your Miss Robeson the Jets the most.
Either New York, either New York. So the New York Giants, then the New York Jets, and then probably the Las Vegas Raiders would be my top 3 choices.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, my boy. I really appreciate it, Bruce. I'll send you. Can you send me an email?
Yeah.
Okay. Go through the fantasyfootballshow.com. Send me an email so I have your email somewhere. But okay, thanks, Bruce. I'll get you hooked up on Patreon. All right, later. Rock out. Final thoughts. Then over to Balake. And then I'm out of here. I'll be back tonight. Rock out. Final thoughts. Rock out.
No, you're good.
All right.
I'll catch you later.
Call tonight. Rock out later, bro. Balake. Final thoughts. Right. Go. Balake?
I'm all good.
You all good? All right, bro. Appreciate you. Call him tonight.
Have a good one.
Call him tonight. Later. All right, I'm out of here. Appreciate you. On that note, let's leave you with the best video we've ever had on this show ever.
Neighbor.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Won't you be my neighbor?
Neighbor.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Won't you be my neighbor?
Neighbor.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Won't you be my neighbor?
Whatever she's cooking on the stove there looks good too, man. It looks like a lasagna or something sitting there.
Yeah.
Miss Robeson does not miss. She does not miss. Unbelievable. On that note, I'll leave you with another Miss Robeson absolute masterpiece.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special message from the Bruce's mother.
Get Bijan.
Want it. Want it.
Take a lap. Take a lap. Take a lap. Take a lap.
He is a body catcher.
We need to have Denny and Miss Robeson on the same segment. Would be unreal. See you all tonight.